Awesome. We are live, Jeremy Night at the Night Group in Austin, Texas. I appreciate everyone that jumps on today and watches this live stream. I have some fantastic guests. One with a face only a mother could love. We'll get to him. So before we jump into our guests and talk about what we're going to talk about, this content today is going to be pretty much everything you need to know. And kind of like the basics 101 for jumping in and dominating on YouTube. So we got a lot of great content. I got a lot of great guests. So this channel, why I started this channel is I personally, before I just joined my new brokerage, I was with eXp Realty. I had, we were Icon agents every single year. So we were doing pretty well without using video. And so what we did is, I had a YouTube channel that was okay, had maybe 150 subscribers. In December of last year, I had a heart-to-heart with somebody about what my content was and why my channel wasn't growing. From that, I've gone from a little 150 subs up to 1,800 subs and monetized, all that great stuff. And by the way, just because you get monetized doesn't mean you make a lot of money on YouTube. It's tens of dollars, as Malcolm has once told me. But the crazy side effect of that is that literally this last week, and in fact, even before, we put almost $4.5 million in contract. In fact, we just put another one in yesterday. Just this week, we're going to do probably 19 million this year alone, just from YouTube leads. So we took what was a good business and made it even better just off of running YouTube. Now I'm in a hot market, so a lot of people want to say, "Oh, it's a hot market." What we'll talk about in this channel and on this today is going to actually talk about different ways to not be so market specific as well. And I think that's what why my channel has done so well is because I'm not just only about my market in Austin. So that being said, I'm going to start bringing on some amazing guests, and I am going to add on first. Add her. There we go. Okay, so here's my guests. I just added all four. I went right for it. So we have Ian. He is in the Austin market. He is a good friend of mine, and we do a lot of work back and forth together. Rebecca out of the Dallas market does very well on YouTube. And then I think that's it, right? And then Dan with the prettiest face. Now, if anyone wants to know why Dan and I riff, Dan and I are both from San Diego, right? So we get each other's humor. I love that guy. And on top of that, this guy's face is on every single thumbnail, and it makes me angry. All right, we'll get into that. So welcome, guys and gals.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
Yeah. Excited.
Yeah, thanks.
Cool. Well, before we jump into the content that we had, I want to start with Ian, and we'll work our way around the dial here. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing with YouTube and how it's affecting your business or helping your business.
Well, once again, thanks for having me on. I would say that YouTube has been an integral part in getting people to realize that I exist, right? Because I think with 15,000 plus realtors in the Austin market, it's hard to stand out. And it's very interesting when you realize that since Google owns YouTube, creating a video will have your results show up higher on Google search. And then also if people are playing around on YouTube, they see your thumbnail on the right-hand side and they happen to be interested in real estate, you start to pop up. So it's been good for my business.
Cool. Dan.
Yeah. So I started really going all in on YouTube about 6 months ago, and it's pretty incredible because it feels like it takes forever to get started. But once you hit kind of a certain point around 100 subscribers, then everything just starts snowballing and shooting up. So I just got in my first 2 solid leads from it, and it's a $1.2 million buyer and a $900,000 buyer, ready to go, motivated, want to work with me. So just adding this on top of all my other business and knowing that at some point I could be just as successful as Jeremy over here, getting $20 million in revenue in 1 year just from YouTube it's pretty incredible.
Cool. Well, welcome. Rebecca, Dallas market, hot market, wonderful content. How is it helping you?
So I started, I guess, more seriously focusing in on YouTube probably around January of 2020, maybe December a little bit too. I'm a pretty busy person, and so I've got 5 kids, and with COVID, plus homeschool now, it's been a little bit crazy trying to just like, hey, let me just call all the people that I know. Like, that's great, and I'm not really. I guess that form of lead gen is okay. And I was doing, I guess, open houses as well as my other bucket, I guess, of lead generation when it came to trying to generate business. But now I'm, focusing more in on just YouTube itself. And I can say that I got my first lead right before COVID hit. So right around early, or I guess mid-February. And then been kind of slowly been getting leads trickling in. I closed my first YouTube lead right this last month in September. And great. I love the fact that they are just so eager to work with me. I don't have to fight with them with what I would normally have to do. I'd fight with them on this or that, or if I can just get in there and explain, my value proposition is already there. I don't have to go, into 6 different conversations. They already know me. They like me. They see my face. They want to work with me. And it's kind of a slam dunk. And these people are great. They're like me. That's the other part about it too, that a lot of people don't realize is that, I'm not a very like forceful, commanding kind of person. I'm not going to push you to do anything that you don't want to do. I'm going to give you all the facts and let you decide. And the people that I get from YouTube, they're not, aggressive. They're very passive, like my personality is. And that's what I really enjoy most. And I feel like I have a good sense of, I get to target certain groups of people that I really want to work with. So for me, like, I really enjoy working with families that are relocating here to the area. So a lot of my content is geared towards families that are relocating to the area. Does that mean that I always get families? No, there was another person that reached out to me that's going to retire here. So, and I've worked with my fair share of retirees and in that group, in that specific category, but it allows me to focus on the group of people that I'm most passionate about and helping them in an extraordinary way. And I think that's just that's why I love it so much. And I want to continue going. And like Dan was saying, get to the point to where, people are calling me every day or every week, asking me to, for help.
So that's a good point. Dan, do you just get pretty gentlemen that call you?
Yes. They look just like this.
That's funny. All right, cool.
You totally can be yourself on YouTube. That's a great point. Like
that's huge.
Over time, you just develop this sense of just completely being yourself and not worrying about like what you have to worry about marketing on other avenues with real estate. And it's pretty fun.
Yeah, that's I can agree with that. The funniest part to me is when, so typically we'll have somebody come in, we'll do a buyer representation agreement through Zoom or whatever, or actually Google Meet is one we've been using a lot recently. But they already want to work with you. The conversion rate for us is extremely high with the people that come in. And then on top of that, it's pretty funny when they come into town and they're like, Jeremy Knight, my favorite Austin realtor, because that's always the hook on my first.
Like your tagline, your tagline,
yeah. So it's pretty funny when they come in all excited about that. So all right, so anybody watching in the chats, please drop comments down. We will answer questions. So Misha definitely said that we're always late. Maybe you're just too on time. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
All the cool kids show up a little later, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Must be a German thing.
Yeah. German thing. Yeah. All right. And then TJ, what's up, man? Living in Seattle. Good to see you. Okay. So let's go ahead. What were you going to say?
Nothing.
Okay. So let me clear these comments out. All right. So ask comments. We are going to start. And I think one of the most important questions that I get, and we're all part of Real Estate YouTube Mastermind, really fantastic group. If you're not in that group, I highly recommend you join that. There's a lot of really good YouTube groups out there. Some of them try to sell you stuff, and I'm not a fan of selling. In fact, my whole channel is not anything to do with selling. So if you subscribe to my channel, please do. This channel, not my first channel, but this channel.
Got too many channels.
Yes. This channel is all about the tips and tricks that you need. So I won't sell you anything, I promise. Anyway, so let's start with some important topics. We'll start with Dan, because I know Dan's working on some different equipment. But what equipment do you use, and what equipment do you need to get started in YouTube?
So yeah, I've tried all sorts of different things, but I can tell you my last probably 5 videos, that's it. This is what I use. This is what I edit on. I've actually used the microphone on here. I have a couple of foam panels in my room. I have some okay lighting. One of my last videos is getting 100 views a day, so it's doing all right. I'm talking about, I just upgraded. So I'm starting to get into some new stuff. I have a nice new Rode microphone that Jeremy convinced me to spend a lot of money on. And then the next step is a camera, so I can get that nice blurry background, mess with the aperture, all that kind of stuff, make it look really professional. But it's not needed. Like, you don't need that stuff to get multiple subscribers a day and to get your channel up and running. Like, focus on the content. Make sure that the audio is pretty good. Make sure the video is as good as you can make it. Make sure the lighting's as good as you can make it. You don't have to spend a lot of money to get started. Just work on developing your skills and your storytelling ability.
I agree with that. What about you, Rebecca?
For me, I used the iPhone. Probably, I would say most of my videos right now are going to be iPhone. Then I graduated, so my husband had a Nikon for a long time, and so I started using his Nikon, and he had a Rode mic already. Like, he already had all this equipment, but I was just like intimidated by it, and I was like, I'm not using that. My cell phone's good enough, and it really is. You don't have to go out and spend a whole lot of money just to go ahead and get started. And then we actually upgraded our camera recently. We have a Canon. It's not a DSLR or anything fancy, but it's still it's a nicer camera than what we had previously. And I've been experimenting with, the sound quality with the Rode mic. I know we have one of those little fuzzy things that goes over the top. I'm in my office, like my work office, because the internet connection is better than my home. So that's why I don't have visual effects here. But I would say just start small, and then eventually, see what else is out there and see what other people are recommending and go from there. I do have some umbrella lights that I upgraded to, because I was noticing that when I was recording, my background was either really dark, or I would, because I'm so busy, have to film in the evening when my kids are asleep, right? So when I'm filming in the evening, it was very difficult lighting wise to get the right kind of lighting, and a lot of my film quality was pretty dark. So I did invest in like $50 or whatever worth of lighting, which was really nothing in the grand scheme of things. So I have some umbrella lights that I have now and I can take with me and whatnot. But somebody had a question, or?
No, Ian's got, if you look in the background behind Ian, he's got every toy you need right there. What do you got, Ian?
I am absolutely the worst, but I'm going to echo everyone else's sentiment is you only need a cell phone. That's all you need. And I ran over there to grab something because I actually have a pile of cell phones that I've acquired over the years. And, they're all different versions. You don't have to have the newest cell phone. What happens, though, is if you have something that's a little newer, it increases the resolution. It might increase the space. It might increase the stability. So if you're holding up a camera or holding up the phone and your video looks like this, if you upgrade your phone, you might have less of that issue, that shaky effect. So there are all sorts of benefits to increasing or improving the hardware.
Yeah.
So I started with cell phones like everybody else. I've got a Samsung Galaxy. I am probably the only person here that's not using an iPhone. I think one of the first purchases I made outside of a cell phone was a mic. I started with the Rode wireless mic, which allows me to hook it up to a camera or a cell phone on one end. And then I have another one that's a lav that I can put here, or I can run it under, put one of those wired mics and run it under my shirt and have it sit here. But in both cases, I can be up to, I think, 100 feet away and still have clear audio.
Yeah.
Game
Audio-
changer.
Audio is a
Game
big piece of
changer.
that.
And then I started playing with cameras. Listen, my background's in IT. I am a nerd. I enjoy spending money on toys and learning how to use them, but that is not needed. So when I did upgrade, I ended up one of my first cameras was a A6400, which is a low end but good quality camera from Sony. Great colors. Autofocus is probably the best in the industry, and it has an articulating screen so you can hold it up and look at yourself. Some people need to be able to see themselves, and you can do it on your cell phone, but when you jump to a camera, you lose that ability. So this gives you that ability back.
So here's my office setup. I have there we go. I have an A6500 Sony. I like it. You know, give you an idea. The camera itself is about $900. The lens is about $900. This is a cheap Rode mic, and I hate it. Audio is the bane of my existence, and that's why I told Dan to get the better one. I have an H1N. I didn't come prepared for this. An H1N recorder. Sometimes I'll wear that and have a lapel. You know, all of this stuff you really don't need. You can get away with just doing the little, if you're using your phone, do the little MEL mic on here from Rode. There's a lot of little things that you can use. Moment makes a really great lens. So this is the case, but Moment makes a great lens, a wide angle lens. I mean, so really for $80 for this, $20 for the case, and then I think it was like $80 for the lens. Like, you're getting a lot of really good equipment that you can use your phone, or if you buy the new iPhone, it's got a wider lens. So that's what I'd recommend. If you are wanting a camera, I put it in the notes there on the side. The Canon M50 is probably the best camera that you can buy as a beginner. It's not 4K. It's no frills. It's none of the great stuff. But in fact, Christina Smallhorn, one of the biggest YouTubers, uses a Canon M50. And so, you know, you don't have to have thousands of dollars in equipment to be successful in YouTube. I've acquired some decent equipment. I have a green screen behind me just because of COVID. I didn't want to be running around. A lot of stuff I like to do is interview people. So if you've seen some of my content, interview people. And so it's easier to interview them, not have to ask questions, and then I come back and I shoot in front of the green screen and ask the questions that I asked. I do have 2 box lights that I use. I think that was like $150 from BH Photo Video. Probably one of the best places that I get stuff. I know people like Amazon, but Ian's audio sounds great. What about mine?
I was gonna say that's cheating. It depends on where you're at, right? So you can have a distance mic where you're out on the field, or you can have something where you're sitting behind a desk. And so I have a mic in my face, right? So it's cheating.
So TJ asked a good one. So you can get was a lavalier or a lapel mic. You can, if you want to do expensive, you can get like the Rode. But for really, you could just get that little lapel mic and run it straight to your phone, and that would be a little bit easier. The Rode mic makes a really good one that is just like kind of a plug-in. It's just a much smaller version of this, and it plugs into your phone. So if you're doing that,
those are nice.
Yeah,
nice.
That definitely helped my audio game. So those little things. Now, one question that I always get, and this is in the equipment arena, what do you edit on? And so I'll start, because my first videos, even when using a green screen, weren't fantastic, but I was editing everything on iMovie. I just recently moved to Final Cut Pro. My editing skills suck. Everybody tells me my videos are great, but my editing skills suck. So yeah, we'll get into like editing schedule and things like that, because that's something else. But so.
Uh-oh.
All right, don't worry, guys.
Yeah, Dan, what do you edit? What do you use?
Everybody, there you go. They're all back. It was going from that to Final Cut was the easier transition. But what are you guys using? Start with Rebecca. There
Okay. So I started with iMovie, and then I kind of grew from there. So I played with all the bells and whistles that I could, and then it was just getting too long for me to get the fancy stuff in that I wanted to, because I kind of found a workaround in a couple of other, different scenarios with text and that kind of thing, and things popping in and out. And I'm on the trial version right now for Final Cut Pro 10X. Yeah. Or Final Cut Pro 10. X is the same as 10. So Final Cut Pro 10 is what I'm editing on right now. And I like it. It was a little bit of a learning curve from iMovie, but it wasn't, I think, as bad. My husband was like, you need to do Premiere Pro. He's always like, Premiere Pro is better and blah, 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 and trying to throw dirt on Final Cut Pro. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to, spend a week learning Premiere Pro, even though he already has a subscription, which is why he was like, don't spend any money. and so I was just kind of like, well, it's what, $300 or something like that, maybe $400 for one time. And I was just like, well, 90-day trial version sounds good. I'll set aside that money over time, and then we'll probably purchase it at the end of the trial with what I've been learning on how to do. I haven't done any fancy or bought any like intros or shortcuts or that kind of thing. I've just been playing with the software. And I also have what is it called? With LinkedIn, there's like it's like Lynda, but it's not, where you can learn how to do stuff when it's not YouTube. I can't remember
Udemy?
LinkedIn. Yeah, it's like Udemy. It's like all those other ones, but it's through LinkedIn. You can ask the professor like direct questions, mm-hmm. and they walk you through like everything step by step, which is kind of what I like. So I don't have to go search and then there's missing holes and missing things. But that's kind of where I'm at right now with my editing game. And I've been also experimenting with pattern interrupts a lot too, in like having these like funny pictures like pop up of people's expressions, and they'll go like, what? And like I'll import the sound effects from Epidemic Sound, which is the sound, the platform that I use for my audio. That's either in the background or for sound effects. That's the platform I'm linked to right now. And then I'm working on getting a better, quicker introduction, because right now I just used for my intro that I have on all my videos, it was created with that program that Bill used and Malcolm used for their intro.
Fiverr?
No, it was a program where you could take photos and pretty much make like a little intro out of it. Ripple, it was the name of it. Yeah. So I made a quick intro with Ripple, and I've been using that, but I've been wanting to tweak that eventually. But yeah, Fiverr's a good place to go. I'm talking too much. Somebody else needs to jump in.
Go, Ian.
Yeah.
I also want to talk too much. I want to, because this is so important, right? Like Jeremy, like bringing this together is really good for a lot of people. So I'm going to start by saying that I use DaVinci Resolve. I saw that come up in the comments, and here's why. IT background, I like learning stuff. And then I also like learning where I don't have to relearn later. I knew if I were to go with something that was quote unquote simple, I would have to then graduate. And I said, well, let me just start with the one that's harder and I can learn my way through it. So the reason why I chose DaVinci over something like Premiere or Final Cut is because I like that it works on any system. It doesn't matter if it's Windows or Apple. So that's one thing. Also, it comes free. You can get it free. And if you want all the professional features, you can go so far advanced. You can get that if you buy a Blackmagic camera. And again, I'm a nerd, so my webcam is actually a Blackmagic camera. And so they gave me 2 licenses for the professional version of DaVinci Resolve free. Last reason I chose that is because Premiere is known for crashing a lot. Final Cut is known for being super easy. So DaVinci is kind of the way to marry the two, and it has all of your programs together. So imagine taking Adobe Premiere plus After Effects plus the sound and everything and putting it in one program and then making it free. That's what DaVinci Resolve is. In fact, most people that get really involved with video and they start learning how to color correct and making things just really pop, they take it out of Premiere and then they bring it into DaVinci Resolve. Then they do the color editing and then they put it back into Premiere just so they can export it. I'm like, well, why would I ever go through that? It doesn't make any sense. So why would I put myself? If you, Jeremy, if you can give me just 5 seconds, I'd like to share. Just what it looks like for half a second. Just for half a second. All right. So just to kind of show, I was actually editing a video. I think you have to upload it. So just so you can see real quick at the bottom, I have all my media that I can show here, any sections of video. So I can chop it up, cut it up. Then I can jump over into dragging it into the timeline. And then I have all of the After Effects, which I'm not actually using for this video. But if I want to get really crazy, I can do that. You can get very advanced. You don't have to do this, but you have the ability to do this. Color, I can go through every single step and color correct. And then I can do advanced audio production and really help my sound. And then I've got this whole export screen. So it's important to understand that your plan, long-term plan when you're creating these videos, what your vision is. And so like Rebecca, I've been experiencing with a lot of I'll throw a meme in here or a clip from another video or some audio overlays, and all of those takes forever, way too long. Like a minute of video is an hour of play to me.
Yeah.
Play.
Yep.
Yeah. Just editing the content. I mean, alone, just getting it where I want it with all my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If I have points, takes a long time enough. And then on top of that, trying to get, more of the pattern interrupts. And I'm trying to get more engagement and longevity. Mm-hmm. which is why I'm spending more time, and I think it'll pay off in the end. But I'm also testing my audience. Do they really like that? Do they really want that?
That's hard.
Yes or no. So I'm playing around with that mainly just to test my audience and see if they like it. My kids love it. They're like, ha ha ha! Look at this guy. His face is so funny, and he's like, it's silly, right? But I enjoy it because to me it's more entertaining for them because they'll watch my videos,
Dan, what do you got? What are you making?
So I'm a PC guy. I'm using Premiere Pro, but I'm going to go ahead and kind of go the other direction again, kind of like with the phones. Like if you're just getting started, if this is the 101, and you don't know how to edit things, start really simple. If you have Premiere Pro, use it. If you have iMovie, use it. It's all about consistency. I've spent the last 6 months spending, 1 day a week learning Premiere Pro, learning how to do things, learning how to edit. And now the last couple of weeks, it's like the opposite direction. I'm like, all right, instead of spending 8 hours of video, how can I cut this down to 4? Because I'm a full-time real estate agent and a part-time video creator, if we want to go there. So it's all about, for me, just how do you make that story? How can you be compelling? How can you draw people in without having to spend so much time on the back end? And then ultimately, the goal for me is to even, outsource the editing so that I'm not even the one doing it. Yeah,
I really want to agree with that. There's no need necessarily to go and take all this time to edit if you have a consistent schedule. I think it's important to understand where you enjoy, because the more you enjoy it, the more you're going to do it. But you can also really get burned out very quickly if that's all you're doing. And so I think outsourcing ultimately is the best plan of action, unless you can just do it real quick on your phone or something. I like understanding the level of depth so that when I outsource it, I know who's actually good, or I know, because that's scary, right? You're like, man, I'm about to pay this person how much? And then you're like, oh, but I know what it takes. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you definitely, I have a video editor that did 2 videos for me. I have 100 and something videos on my channel.
Yeah.
They made it to 2. And then after that, they got cut.
See?
So, and it's been very hard. I know Tim Macy's been really pushing. What's the name of the company? Tim just texted me. he's been pushing an editing company on me called Video Husky.
Hmm.
I think it's like a $500 a month subscription. If you want it's a subscription, but you can get, to my knowledge, I don't know the product very well. It's $500 a month, but they'll do unlimited videos for you. So if you're putting out a lot of content,
Wow.
Video Husky, yeah, Ian, just
Okay.
you could just jump in. Ian, you're right there. You don't have to PM me.
No. I'm saving it.
More
Just writing
videos.
notes so
Oh,
that
gotcha.
we have our lessons learned later.
Yes, Video Husky. Yeah, so that's the that's what he recommends. He's actually sent me some videos that they've done for him, and they're very good. I don't think I don't know how they'd work with my content with like green screen and all that stuff. So that's why I'm a little. So speaking of content, this is the big. I think there's three things people have issue. There you go. Three things people have issue with when they're doing video. Number one, what do I use? Equipment. Number two, what types of videos? And then number three, how do I get in front of a camera and do all of it, right? So as far as content, I'll be brief and I'll let everybody jump in. I have listened to Christina Smallhorn. I listened. I was very hard-headed about it. It was very tough to hear some of her very kind, rough criticisms. But from doing that, it has made me a good business. So I keep to 4 different types of content. So my market, I'm in Austin. So I have Austin, right? Things you need to know about Austin, things you need to know about Texas. That's my wide net. And then I have neighborhoods and suburbs. So those are my 4 areas of content I constantly put out. Now, how did I come up with those 4 things? I listened to what people moving to Austin were asking questions about. And so that's how I started looking at what content I needed to put out. And so I have a list of what I need to do. So the first Tuesday of the week is this, or of the month is this kind of content. And then the next is this content. And the next is, so it's a revolving content. Now, I've just started doing live streams. So that's kind of a weird thing I've thrown into my videos. In fact, Ian and I are going to do a video this evening on my main channel. But that's what I'm doing, and it's working quite well for me. I want to hear from the 3 of you. What content are you trying to put out on a regular basis?
I think Dan should go first. He hasn't gone first yet.
Yeah, but nobody wants to hear from Dan's face. Come on.
That's true. That's true. My content all has to do with me and my face. No. Yeah, I have a very, very similar model and, kind of buckets of videos that I create. Things about moving to San Diego, things about San Diego neighborhoods, and now starting to do like moving to California videos, that large basket that Jeremy was talking about. I think there's a lot of opportunity there because people think local, but you can kind of funnel them down if you kind of go bigger too. So that's what I'm doing. There's a couple of ways that you can organize that. I know Malcolm's talked about the Trello method. So I've tried that in the past. It doesn't work that great for me personally. I think everyone kind of has a different way that their brain works. But just a way to like throw a bunch of video ideas in and kind of put it down the line of from idea to research to SEO, all that stuff. And the other thing that I recommend is if you want to get serious with content, find 1 or 2 accountability partners. Not any more than that. Don't do any more than 2 because it becomes too many and there's not enough communication. Shout out to Misha and Paul for being my accountability partners for the last 6 months. It's really helped me develop my game and find people that like are just as motivated as you and kind of on the same level, that you're literally going to be talking every single week and being completely open and honest, like Christina was with Jeremy and how terrible his videos were.
All right. So, Ian, jump in.
So I have a Google sheet of probably 250 videos that I need to make.
Yeah.
And I just went through, so we just joined a new broker. I just joined a new brokerage, and I was kind of pausing, resetting, focusing on that, and then reigniting my strategy. So having that list, having a clean system. So I have like write. So I write a script. Then I have a write folder. Then I have an edit folder. And then I have a production folder. And then like lessons learned or something, so that I'm moving it along so that I can improve my videos. So it's just, I think the organization is a big part of it. One of my most popular videos is reasons not to move to Austin.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's really
my number
funny
one.
because I've had so many people that'll reach out to me directly and they'll say, you know what? Everybody tells you why and nobody tells you why not. And so we appreciate your honesty and we need more of that. And so that has worked for me and I need to do more of it. Let's just say it that way. And I think people just like, I think Rebecca mentioned it earlier. Once people see you, they feel like they know you immediately. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. So coming up with a consistent plan and then talking about it and pushing it out, they feel like they know you and they're going to reach out to you if they like you. Yeah,
Ian, that's something I'm trying to integrate into more and more videos. I heard from an expert not too long ago that was, if you want to be an expert in something, you need to be talking about the negatives and why not to do it just as much as you're talking about the positives. So no matter what your video is, if you're talking about a neighborhood, talk about how it's perfect for a certain type of person, but talk about who it's not right for. You want
it's huge. Huge.
That's actually a really funny story. I'm gonna hold on. Give me 1 second here. You make a very good point. Here, let's see, most popular videos. All right, let me see if I can share this now. Here we go. So this is my main channel. Don't subscribe to this channel, please.
Right.
We will
Tip
talk
number one.
at the
Don't
end of
tell
this
agents to
video.
subscribe
We
to your
will
channel.
at the end of this video when we talk about tips, we will talk about why. So this video right here, 25,000 views. I talked crap about Whataburger.
Nice.
I'm from California, right? So
Nice.
I talked crap about Whataburger, and I talked about the homeless problem in Austin. I know Ian has too, and I get a ton of negative comments on this from people because I talked about the homeless problem.
People telling you to leave.
Yes, people telling me, people
Like,
calling me,
if you don't like it, get out of here. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it is. I've seen some crazy comments, but to the point you're making, this is one of my best videos. And in fact, if I look at the comments, one comment I get was, "Are you the anti-tourism board of Austin?" So you need to have that content. I mean, one of my best videos. If you look, Dan, there is my face on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those videos. So we'll talk about faces in a little bit. But yeah, somebody go. I lost my train of thought.
It's okay.
I love
I'll take
I
over.
need an anti-face coach. Who can be my accountability partner and tell me to remove my face off of all these thumbnails? I don't know, everybody's got a strategy.
Yeah.
All right. So for me, let's see, screen sharing with 2 monitors. Let's see. Will allow me to choose a window. Okay, hang on. Let me see if I can figure out how to share.
Hi, Dan. We lost Dan's face.
You're okay with that, though?
Well,
you are.
No.
Maybe the audience too.
No. Dan, so we're while you're getting that ready, Dan, here we go. Dan puts his face on every thumbnail. I'm an anti-face thumbnail guy. And so it's just quite a funny story because we barb pretty well. Let's see.
Yeah. All right. So these are my Trello boards. So I start with like the keyword stuff here. Kind of, I look at the keywords, but I don't emphasize on it so heavily. I know Christina Smallhorn likes to talk about sexy titles, like what's a good headline, what's going to attract someone to that title versus just keyword stuffing. So I've kind of gone away from that. So that's kind of the old version. But then if you go further over, you can see that my next column is like, what's my pattern? So like my old pattern was location videos, buying tips, had a whatever video category, and then selling tips. Now it's changed to more of me doing, those for Texas. That's my broad net. So I'm competing with Jeremy. I do videos directly about Dallas because that's the big major city around me. And then I live in a smaller suburb just north of Dallas in McKinney. So my third bucket is actually all about McKinney. And that's where my biggest breakout video has been like my really niched out content was in McKinney. And then my last bucket has actually turned into buyers and seller tips. Just different things that they may need to know. I know occasionally I'll have like a loan officer that's on my channel or interview them. And so that would kind of fall into that particular category of content. I have started trying to play around more of the live stream, but I still have those buckets. So I know that, Jeremy, you have your buckets that you have, and your live stream content should probably fall still within those same buckets of content as well. And then I think this is what Jeremy is about to show next is you can go on other channels. So you can look at Jeremy's channel. You can look at my channel. You can
look at my channel.
You can look at Dana Pollard's channel.
Just don't subscribe.
Yeah,
look at Dana Pollard's channel. This is what I'm talking about, and this is why I give Dana a hard time, is because Dana Pollard has her face on every single thumbnail. She's fantastic. Look, 66,000 subscribers. Her content is not my content. Right. So I like to look at hers to see what she's doing, and kind of get some ideas. And I know, Rebecca, you're in the same market. So how bad do you hate Dana?
I don't even know Dana.
Yeah. This is the first time I've seen her too.
So like she's doing really good on YouTube, but I haven't called her, talked to her, reached out. I haven't done any. She's mainly focusing in on the Fort Worth side of town. And so that's kind of her niche. Mine is more of the Dallas side of town. I know that when you had, what's his name on your, Casey? Is it Casey?
Casey. Yeah.
When you had Casey on one of your other live streams, he kind of talked about like how Dallas and Fort Worth are kind of two separate metropolitan areas. And I would say that, yeah, that's pretty true, because they're so large. Like I have a million videos to shoot just like Ian does, because, you've got the city of Dallas, and then you've got all these, Richardson, Garland, Plano, and all of those are expanding and growing. And then you have those cities that are just north of there, and that's just city level, So, and then in each city you can niche down and you can say, what are the best neighborhoods in Plano? You could do a video all about the schools in Plano. You could do a video all about what the best things to do for fun with your family in Plano. So you can really, there's so much content that you can actually go and create out there. And I know that Ian has a long list, and so do I. There are videos that I know a lot of my audience, based on what my analytics are right now. I look at my analytics. That's another thing I think people need to realize, is that it's not just, let's just make videos that we want to make. It's about looking at the video, how did your audience respond to it? Did they like it? Did they not like it? And then start creating the content around your audience more, listening to what questions your audience says in the comments, and then making videos about that stuff. You have content for days when it comes to real estate. And, I'm barely scratching the surface, and I have a long list of things that I want to do. You can interview small businesses, and niche down it even further if you're focusing on a certain city as well. So go ahead. And you want to talk about Dan's channel? I
want to talk about Dan's thumbnails, because thumbnails is our next topic. So Dan, your number one video does not have your face on it.
Yeah, my absolute worst thumbnail ever. Here's the funny thing is, like, you can look at a thumbnail and say, man, this is going to perform so well. It's going to kill it. This is going to crush it. And you put it out, it does nothing. And then you have complete opposite happen, where it's like, how is this performing? Like, that was before I knew how to do thumbnails. So it was like my first Photoshop edit ever. It's pretty interesting. I can tell you, I have videos that was one of my first videos. So if you're looking at view count, that's up there. But that one, top reasons not to move to San Diego, is by far my best performing video. I'm getting about 100 views a day on that one.
Cool.
I wish I could look at your analytics. I don't have
Yeah.
TubeBuddy.
What is your?
I'll pull it up if I can.
Yeah.
What do you
share
mean
your
you don't
thing.
have TubeBuddy? Hold on. Really?
See, isn't that crazy? Everybody's like, "Oh, look, I gotta have TubeBuddy. I'm so cool because I have TubeBuddy." Jeremy, no TubeBuddy. 1,813 subs and not TubeBuddy. So in your face, TubeBuddy.
That's true. That's true.
I want to answer
Could
this
be
question real
4,000.
quick. I want to
I
get
don't
to
know.
your. Sorry, I want to get to your thing, Dan. But so Misha said that he's in a smaller military. Should he do Atlanta? Yes, definitely add content on Atlanta. Definitely add content on Georgia. Definitely wide net, because here's the crazy thing. I get referrals for Dallas. I get referrals for Houston. I get referrals for San Antonio because of my channel.
Yeah.
So referrals are free money in your pocket. So definitely talk about other areas. I mean, Dan's got one, I think, coming up on like San Francisco or something versus San Diego. I guarantee you Dan's going to get some referrals or people moving from San Francisco to San Diego. So, all right, Dan, did you get your screen on there? Did you figure it out?
Share screen.
And then it should ask which one. There we go. Almost.
Is the right one? Oh,
No.
no. Let's do that.
I want to see Dan's analytics.
Can you see it?
So bad. Not yet.
All right. So, I still feel like I'm kind of new at this, but, you can kind of see here recent videos. This one got 200 views in the last 48 hours. This one got 100 views in the last 48 hours. I will
Hold on, I'm still not seeing your screen on here.
Are you not? All right.
No.
I'm gonna get mine
allow.
ready.
I have to hit that allow button, it looks like. Can you see it now?
There it is. All right, add to stream. There you go.
There we go. So this is what I think we all probably obsess over. We look at we go into YouTube Studio, you can see your analytics. So real time in the last, for whatever reason, 48 hours is the metric that pulls up right here, but 761 views in the last 48 hours. And this is mostly people that are searching for or interested in moving to San Diego. So there's just nothing else like this. It's absolutely crazy. I don't know what metrics do you guys like to look at? So top videos in this period. So this is what I was talking about. Top reasons not to move to San Diego. So in the last month, these are my top videos. See, thumbnails or thumbnail with no faces, 4th on the list. But I mean, most of my videos have my face on it, so it's not really a fair comparison. Whereas Jeremy's, most of his don't these days.
Yeah, it's because the jealousy is because I've gained the COVID-20, so I don't want to put my face on a thumbnail.
COVID-20.
19, whatever.
Yeah, and then I guess the other thing I think that's pretty interesting, if I can remember where it's at. Yeah, so if I change
your
this,
videos per videos too, Dan. Like your per video, like your latest video, you can check the retention rate, you can check the click-through rate, and you can look at individual videos too. So this is just his overall analytics on your channel.
Exactly. Yeah, and you can see here, so this is my last 90 days on YouTube. I mean, you can see it's a slow, painful beginning of getting to the point where you're getting 100 views a day. And then all of a sudden, YouTube starts to figure out who to put your videos in front of. Your content starts to get a little better, and it just snowballs. So, hopefully another 90 days, this is going to be at,
That's actually a good point, and I'll bring this up right now. So there are YouTube groups out there that focus on the best way to do it is a sub for sub or a pay to play strategy, right? So where you get, my son's tooth came out.
Oh, wow.
My wife just that is the worst thing you can do to your channel. And Dan's channel, you can tell from this graph that he probably didn't have a pay to play, and so pay to play is like when you're putting your links out and asking other realtors to watch your channel. And so they'll put a like, they'll put a comment. YouTube understands, and Christina's explained this to me over and over because I did the same thing. I wanted views, right? And then it was harming my channel. And you can look at his channel. It's a great example of now YouTube has picked up what his channel is because he doesn't have realtors subscribing to it. Casey, if he's watching this, Casey keeps putting his links everywhere because he wants people to watch his channel. Casey McCowan, stop doing it. Stop
doing it, Casey.
God, you're killing it. And
Doing
he won't get it. He won't get it. Maybe he'll get it now. But yeah, anyway, that's a good point.
I'll also say I have my kind of strategy with that is because you're creating all this content, you don't want to just put it on YouTube. Like it takes a lot of time and effort and energy to do that. So my kind of strategy is, I'm pretty active on Instagram, Facebook. I'll just create stories and just show people like a little teaser of what I'm doing. The amount of people that actually go from Instagram to find my channel to watch a video is pretty minimal, but it's kind of seamless to show everyone that's in my sphere, everyone that follows me, that I'm staying active, I'm doing these fun things. It's kind of a second use of the content. That's kind of how I utilize it.
Or you can upload snippets of it organically too. I've done that too, but it's always organic. It's never directly to, because that'll be the killer of a video. So
one thing I want to show on here on my channel is this is what I pay attention to. This is, is when it comes to which videos I'm going to put out this week. Obviously I have a list, but this is what I'm looking at most. So I'm looking at what my videos are doing, and this is off a 28-day, I think, period. So if you look, only one face right there in your face, Dan. But if you look on this channel, so I had this live in North Austin versus South Austin. This video is not doing very well, and all of a sudden it's popping. So today at 7 p.m. on my regular channel, Ian and I are going to do a live battle video. We're going
boxing gloves and all.
Yes, and the thumbnail for that thing is impressive. I have to say,
it is. I love it.
I'll just take it and do it on all of my versus videos.
But here's what I really want to show one thing. So this is what I focus on. So yes, I'm looking at what videos are doing well, but this is what I'm focusing on the most, the audience retention rate. And so what I'll do is I'll go through my videos and I'll see if they're dropping off around this time frame. I want to see what I did in this time frame to drop off at 57. Because really 64, not to pat myself on the back, but 64% retention rate is very high. And if you look at most of my stuff is over 50. And then this one, I mean, it's a longer video, but 44%, 47%, again, a longer video. So when you're editing as a tip, and when you're editing, look at where your content starts to drop off and make a change when you're editing, put some B-roll in, maybe change what you're saying at those marks. At those marks, the 50% mark, I always put something in the 50% mark now. So when I'm editing the video and I know where my 50-ish% mark is, be like, hey, stay in the video because remember that tip I was going to tell you about. So that's a tip that I do in my videos because that's where people start to fall off, that 47 to 50%. And if you keep them wanting to stay to the end, that's how you get your retention rate higher.
Yeah, there's all sorts of tips and tricks, B-roll. You could just even throw in a little bit extra context down on the bottom to keep people engaged and searching for things.
Even just adding text will automatically get them their reticulator. Is that I'm using that right term? I don't know. It'll change their focus.
Reticular activating system. Took me a second.
See, he wasn't lying on you. He said it was the nerd.
No, I'm absolutely a nerd. I was so excited. I was like, oh, I know this. So bad.
It's like pop quiz. Ian knows the answer.
Yeah.
All right. So the reticulator indicator system, just trying to break that up more frequently. And I think text is a simple way just to kind of.
Perfect example.
This best question I've seen on here. This is the best question.
Yeah.
We definitely need to answer this. Dan, get it.
A good length is exactly how long you need to tell your story.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Go through, and if it's 5 minutes, you could probably cut 30 seconds out of it just to increase engagement and storytelling. And some things take longer, some things take less. Try and stick to like 3, maybe 4 bullet points, and that'll easily get you to around the 6-minute mark, which is probably about the average on my videos, 6 to 8 minutes. 6 to 8 is
good. Ian, what's your length? You have some long videos, right, Ian?
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that. I have to give a shout out to my wife. I've got like back-to-back lives today, a couple with you, Jeremy. And so she just brought me food. What?
Wow.
That's awesome.
Keeper, right?
Yeah,
That's a good keeper. So the length of the videos, I have experimented with. The problem is I'm a squirrel, and Dan talked about this. I think Rebecca, you talked about this. Jeremy, you may have talked about this. Because I've been experimenting, I've spent a lot of time on the technical aspect because I enjoy that, but it has hurt my production and my consistency. So some of my better performing long videos are because I've had those breaks in between, or movie clips or memes or something. And so I've done listing videos that are gasp 15 minutes long, which is ridiculous. But if I have a retention rate of, let's say 7 minutes, that's not great, but it's pretty darn good for a 15-minute video. My mentality behind that was Tiger King. I'm not that interesting. But if I'm showing something that's that interesting and I can keep people engaged, then maybe I could pull it off. So I actually retracted a little bit. One of my best performing videos, and this is the most frustrating, not even about real estate. It was about Zoom. So mad. So I'm separating that, right? Because that's frustrating. But it has like more than 50,000 views, and it's because I showed people how to use Zoom. Point is, the video was
Christina's
4
dog
minutes or 5 minutes, and it's at, I don't know what, 80% or something, where people watch it all the way through until I get to my little outro. So if whatever your video and your content is, it should be enough where people get the value and don't have a reason to drop off. That's really it. So I used to have a longer intro. It was like 45 seconds.
Whoa.
I know. Nobody likes me that much, right? Like, that's not what it's about. It's about getting them to the information quickly, but then throwing a little bit of an intro in there.
Yeah.
So I think Rebecca, you talked about like your ripple. Great. 10 seconds, done. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
Good YouTubers say that you want to try to get it anywhere from 3 to 5 seconds of an intro.
That's
like
so crazy.
You're just like 3 seconds, 5 seconds, and you're done. So if you're thinking, sometimes you don't even do one or need one because people want the content. They don't care about like your fancy song or whatever you got at the beginning.
I know, but I really like the music.
I know, right?
I put time into this intro, and it's not good.
So I would say, as far as the timing goes, my goal is to be over 8 minutes. That is my goal. And the mentality behind that is because you want to keep people on your channel as long as possible, and YouTube's going to reward you for that. So that's why I try to keep it over 8. But you got to keep that 8 minutes entertaining as heck. And so in my videos, I'm constantly changing things every like 8 seconds, either to zoom out, zoom in, B-roll, something's in there. Now, this guy, he's in the Austin market. I've had a lot of people say that they watched his channel and they hired me instead because he's kind of a little bit boring to me, right? But if you look, 9 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes. But look at the view count: 194K, 100 and whatever, 137. Now, I think he might have had, these are all with builders, so I think he may have paid for some of these views. And I noticed that his subscriber count was closer to 15,000, and he hasn't posted in a while. I mean, I've shown you his most popular videos, but I think his subscriber counts dropped because of not being consistent and putting out new content. So, so that's.
I was just gonna say, like, for anyone that's new out there, don't be worried about other people that have channels and their success or whatever they have going on. Just worry about yourself.
Yeah.
And even if you're creating the same type of content, people are going to decide, like, they're going to be more attracted to one person versus the other. Like, think about it. People want to work with Jeremy Knight. I don't know how that works when there's other great Austin agents out there doing YouTube, but still, for some reason, people go to Jeremy. So if he can do it, anyone can do it.
That's right. If I can do it, anyone can do it.
Well, he said it, Jeremy, you said it at the beginning. You said, I'm a doer. That's the answer. The answer is that you're pushing content out where, you know, you, myself, Dan, Rebecca, we're like 1% of the realtor population.
Right.
Really.
Yeah.
That's the answer.
So I do want to make a very big shout out here. You know, you guys talked about, Dan talked about having accountability groups. Obviously, I talked to Christina Smallhorn on a weekly basis. She now, I think I'm part of her family at this point. But my channel was taking off. I was moving in a new direction, and then COVID hit, right? Everybody had to deal with COVID. And when COVID hit, I was like, you know what? Nobody wants to hear about real estate. Nobody wants to. And I was kind of demoralized. I had taken, my whole goal was to put out a video per week all year. That was it. One video per week every Tuesday. I saw Malcolm Lawson putting out constant content during COVID. And I was like, but he has like 3 channels, but he was just pumping out content. And I was like, well, if Lawson's pumping out content, why am I not pumping out content? Because it dawned on me that all these videos, some of these videos, you'll get 1,000 views the first week and then nobody watches them again. Or you'll get 100 views the first week, and then 5 months later, all of a sudden, like my North versus South Austin video, 12,000 views. I'm like, wait, where did this come from? Yeah. So I started pumping out content. That's all I did. For 2 weeks, none of us really had business. So I was just literally filming every single day and trying to get out as much content as possible. That is what changed my channel. The content and making the change changed my channel, right? What I was focusing on changed. But that I need to get out as many videos as possible and edit them now and get them shot now, even though they might not come out for another week or so, because all this content's got to go somewhere. And so that is the biggest point. That's the biggest takeaway anyone should take away from this video and this group is just do it. It doesn't have to be pretty. It doesn't, Dan's
allow yourself to
pretty.
suck. Allow yourself to be bad. It's going to take some time, and it's not going to be like this magic wand overnight. You're just going to all of a sudden be killing it. Like it's like when you first joined real estate. Like, were you awesome when you first joined real estate?
Yes.
Absolutely not. I'm sorry. But the you that you are now versus when you first started, miles different, right? Completely different, right? You're so much better than what you were. And I think people allow yourself to just do, right? Just get out there and do it. And at the same as, with any, and I think that's why, Jeremy, you had such a successful business to start, is because you are a doer. And most real estate agents that do well in real estate. It makes sense.
I love that, Rebecca.
Yeah. I've put out videos that I just hated. I'm like, oh, I hate this video. And then all of a sudden it was like my best producing video. I'm like, what in the heck? Okay. So you never know. Like there's a video that I did and I loved. Oh, I loved it so much. Nothing. And I'm like, how? So just put out content. Do it. Just do it. Doesn't got to be pretty. It doesn't got to be Dan's face pretty. So, all right. So we're hitting an hour. I wanted to keep it an hour. We had some more content that I wanted to put out, but all of us need to go. Ian's got to do another live stream. Dan's got to go put in hair gel. It's 5 days around. I want to thank all of you for joining. Seriously, Dan, I give you a hard time, but man, I love your stuff. Thank you. Ian knows how much I love him. Rebecca.
I appreciate you. Always.
Yeah, Rebecca, you're fantastic. So I appreciate y'all coming on. Have a wonderful day. We are going to end this right there. Thank you all. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.
Wait,
later.
Any last words?
Last
Yes,
words.
batch content.
Yeah.
Oh, batch content. Yes, that's a good last word. I will agree with that. Consistent.
Yeah.
Stay consistent.
Do like 5 videos on Monday, and they're done.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it. For anyone that's brand new to video, just have one thing in mind when you're filming. Be excited about what you're talking about. Whether you don't be big, bubbly, crazy, anything like that. If you genuinely feel excited about the words coming out of your mouth, the viewer's going to notice that.
Your little add-in, the words that are coming out of my mouth, you could pull that from the movie with, who was it, Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan?
Yeah.
And the words that are coming out of my mouth.
Yeah, do you understand? See, that's exactly what you do. You throw that scene at the end, and then you're done.
Love it.